أنا أنا برد يا كيكو.
Hello, ladies.
هاي دانا.
How are you all?
Hi, Dana.
Hi, all good?
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. Alhamdulillah. Freezing, but I'm good. All sorts
But
of.
better.
Oh, alhamdulillah, much better. خلاص. Yeah, yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
All right.
So, Dana, can I ask you a thing? I did today the juicing day.
Mm,
This is my 9th day.
okay.
But by like dinner time, I felt so hungry.
Mm,
So I had some vegetables, like saute.
mm.
But all the day I was drinking juices like normal.
Yeah.
So this is okay, or should I repeat again the juice day?
I mean, ideally, what the reason we do the juice day is to give your body one day of pure, I mean, of one of the deepest detox ways that you can have, which is liquid and all raw. So when you put in something cooked at the end of the day, it's not going to undo everything you've done, but it's also not going to sort of take you, to that finish line that you would have had you stuck with just the liquid. But no, you don't need to repeat. You don't need to repeat. Just keep going. Whatever it is you had planned to start again tomorrow, whichever cycle, just keep doing that.
So no need to repeat that. It's okay for me, but I mean, I felt hungry by the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
It's
so
also a
okay.
really, really cold day. So on cold days, you might feel like you're hungry, but on the juicing day, you're taking in such incredible nutrient dense. It's not an actual hunger. I'm gonna go with today was a really cold day. And anytime it's colder, our body just needs more. So you probably just could have had more of the juices, and that would have settled the hunger feeling. But in terms of is there a reason to be hungry on juicing day? No, because it's incredibly, incredibly nutrient dense foods, especially after by now, right? So this isn't like the first time your body has really shifted from trying to survive on very low nutrient food to now starting to thrive on high nutrient dense foods. So it wouldn't be true hunger what you were experiencing today. It was most probably it could have been a combination of things. I'm just saying the cold because I felt it. So there's the cold. There's potentially anytime you start to feel hunger on and off, it could be if you're ovulating, it could be if you're near your period. It could be a number of things. Maybe you didn't sleep as well last night. Maybe you had a bit of stress. So there's always more than one factor to look at, but emotional, which is what we're going to talk about today. But in terms of an actual physical hunger, by this point, really should not be a huge contributing factor. Okay.
So I think what happened is that I was traveling from Cairo to Dubai to come to my home because I live in Dubai. And yesterday it was hectic for me. It's a bit stressing. So maybe this is why I really felt hungry this night.
You were traveling today or yesterday?
No, last night. I
Okay.
was
All right.
traveling
So there
last
was a
night.
shift. Right. So anytime we travel, there's you also take in there's like the fumes from the plane and there's all sorts of things that are unsettling for the body. There is a little bit of a jet lag, even if it's just 2 hours, the body has to readjust. So it's not like you were at home doing everything in your regular routine, right? Something was off for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is really important to start to recognize everybody, that every single day is not the same, every single week is not the same, and to take into account all the moving pieces in your life and how your body literally responds to all of this. So you might think it's no big deal. I just took a flight from Dubai to Cairo yesterday, but that is a big deal for the body. Getting on a plane, the shift in altitude, like I said, the fumes from the plane, we never really consider that the fumes from the plane, being inside that recirculated air. even if it's just a few hours, and then coming and then shifting your sleep, shifting where you were sleeping. So all of this is going to affect your energy levels, your focus, and they're not things to just sort of brush aside and take lightly, and take note of how your body responds to the changes in stimuli that you're presenting your body with. So if you feel a little bit off, feel a bit more hungry than usual, feel a little bit more tired than usual, pay attention to what has changed in your day or in your week that might have led to that. All right, ladies, today we are doing emotional eating, which I know is a big one for not just for women, believe it or not. It's a big one for men as well, but they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to admit it. No man is ever going to say, I'm an emotional eater, but they are, just like we are. So we're going to talk about that today. And what I want you to do for the first part of today's class is I just want you to close your eyes. I want you to sit back and relax and close your eyes for me. You can even turn off your camera. I want you to just picture something with me. I'm going to walk you through something. Close your eyes and imagine this. Imagine it's about 9 p.m. Your kids are either finally asleep if they're still little, or if they're independent, they're quiet and busy in their rooms. Dinner time is finished. Bath time is finished. Homework is finished. You've cooked, you've cleaned, you've prepped from dinner time. You've also prepped everything for the next day. You finally go to your room, finally take off your clothes, you take a shower, you put on your PJs. Your husband is either still at work, or if he's home, he's probably sitting watching TV, maybe watching sports, or he's nowhere to be seen, out with friends, still at work. In all cases, you're more or less on your own. And so you think to yourself, I've been so good today, so good all day. I even avoided that croissant and that dessert when I went to have coffee with my friends. And then at work, when they all ordered KFC and shawarma, I didn't have it. I stuck to my diet. I had my little salad without any oil, with just a little half a cup of rice and one piece of boiled chicken for lunch. And then for dinner, I had my Greek yogurt and my single fruit, exactly like the diet plan hung up on my refrigerator door said I should eat today. I did it exactly how I should be eating. And even when my son wanted a cheese sandwich and I made him a sandwich and he left a bite on his plate, I didn't even eat that last little bite of a cheese sandwich on his plate, even though I was dying to. But I kept telling myself, you know what? It's such a small bite. You shouldn't throw bread away. What difference could this make? But still, I threw it out and I was so good today. I was so good. But now it's quiet and you have nothing to do and you're not sleepy. You're not going to sleep for a few more hours. You really don't know what to do with yourself. So you scroll through Facebook and Instagram. The same news, the same posts, nothing really inspiring. So by now your husband's home and he's sitting watching sports or some TV show that you just don't understand how anybody could sit through it. Anyway, you sit next to him. He can't really tell that you're there anyway, so you get up since he wasn't paying attention to you anyway. You wander around the house. You pick up a few more stray shoes, maybe some socks, books. You unload the dishwasher, put the plates away. And as you put all the clean plates away and the cutlery away, you think to yourself, you know what? I'm tired. I'm really tired. And I'm really bored. And I'm really fed up. And I'm really bored of my routine. Every day, the same thing. Day in, day out. Every single day. And nobody appreciates what I do. Nobody even sees what I do. And as you're thinking these thoughts, you're in the kitchen, so you absentmindedly open the fridge, but you're not really hungry. There's the cheese that you used to make your son's sandwich earlier, right there on the shelf in front of you. right next to the bread. Without thinking, and maybe with a small sigh, you take them out and decide you're going to take a small sandwich, a really small one. And you tell yourself, tomorrow I'm going to be back on my diet. Tomorrow, I promise. So you cut the cheese and you place it between the bread and you pop it into the microwave and you listen to the cheese as it sizzles and it melts. And then you remember the last minute that a cucumber would go perfectly with the melted cheese. So you take the sandwich out of the microwave, and as you wait for it to cool, you wash and chop the cucumber, and you can smell that familiar aroma of the cheese mixed with the bread, and the scent calms you down and fills you with more excitement than you've had the past month. And you didn't even realize you needed calming down, or that you actually hadn't had any excitement for so long. You don't even sit to eat. You take a bite of the sandwich, standing at your kitchen counter, relishing this moment of solitude and pure joy and comfort that this sandwich gives you. And even as it calms you, your heart beats a little faster at how good it is. You take another bite and another bite, stuffing the cucumber in between so you can get that perfect mix of tastes. And it feels good. It tastes so good. You feel good. So good, you want another one. So you tell yourself, you know what? I've already had one already. What difference will having another one make? What's done is done. So the bread and cheese are still on the counter anyway. You never put them back. So you make another sandwich and relish the same sensations all over again. You feel so much better, happy even. But just as quickly, the guilt sets in. You put everything back in the fridge and you look around quickly. Did anyone see I broke my diet? No. Okay, good. Tomorrow, you tell yourself, tomorrow I'm back on track. Open your eyes, ladies, and tell me, does this sound familiar? Could be the cheese sandwich, could be the chocolate cake, it could be the chips, could be the pizza. You can plug in the food that works for you, but who can relate? Let me know in the chat. Oh, yes, very familiar. Yes, very true and typical. I always eat when bored. Definitely chocolate. All of my early adulthood. Food makes me happy. This is what we refer to as emotional eating, ladies. Right there. We've all been there. We've all done it. Whether we know why we did it or not, but we do. And we can still keep doing it and not quite know exactly what triggers it, but we do. It's very frustrating because when we're in it, you're enjoying it, you love the sensations, but it's typically very instant right after is the guilt. They usually go hand in hand. We usually don't go through, and it's almost like you're blacked out in the moment of emotional eating, and then you wake up and it's like, oh my God, what did I just do? So we want to walk through that today to try and understand the mechanisms behind this, because once you start to understand it, you can start to work with it. I'm going to tell you right off the bat here, we're never going to eliminate emotional eating 100%. It's not humanly possible because we are humans with a lot of emotions that we are always trying to process and understand and make use of. Emotions are really, really it's how your body communicates with you what needs processing emotionally and mentally. The same way like you have physical symptoms, pain, discomfort, bloating, gases. Emotions are how your body communicates with you in terms of what in your life needs processing. But when you don't know that, and you haven't been taught how to process emotions, or you've always been told that certain emotions are bad emotions, negative emotions, you're too scared to show them, you're too scared to express them, you're too worried about what if you do express them, what are you going to get as feedback from the other side? So it's safer to just not express them. but then they have to go somewhere. You have to deal with them somehow, and we do that by suppressing them. And emotional eating is just one way of suppressing emotions. It's a distraction. So any kind of distraction really can be used to not have to deal with an emotion. It could be eating is one way, social media is another way, sleeping is another way. Like there's many ways that we can not deal with emotions. But today we're going to talk about emotional eating because obviously as it applies to this program. So when you eat out of an emotional urge, it's usually right on high processed sugar foods. Typically, nobody's feeling bored or sad or angry or frustrated or depressed and binging on salad, right? Usually there's a high sugar, high processed carbohydrate comfort food, as we call it, usually junk food. And when it happens, like I said, it's almost like a blackout. It's mindless. You're not focused. You're not aware of quantity. You're not aware of quality, obviously. And you're in the moment, you're not thinking about how these foods are going to, in the moment they're making you feel good, but you're not really thinking about long term how these foods are going to, react with your body. And really, you just do it to, like I said, to distract yourself, to numb yourself, to soothe yourself, to relax, also to reward yourself. We do that a lot. I've been really good today. I've been really busy today. I've been really productive today. Oh, I'm so happy today. Let me go and have something sweet to reward myself or to celebrate. We do that all the time. But the problem with emotional eating is it overrides your body's natural hunger cycle, right? And like I told you at the beginning, getting over emotional eating requires you to first identify your physical addictions. Because sometimes we're not sure which one it is. You could actually have, it's an emotional eating moment, but if you couple that with deficiencies, when your body is actually physically hungry for something, you might be able to not eat emotionally, you might be able to process, but if there's a physical hunger there, you're still going to go for the foods. So it's very important for us, and this is why I'm saying at this point, we're done with the physical hunger. At this point, we're not dealing because we have gotten rid of the things that create the cravings. We've gotten rid of the physical addictions from the processed foods. So now what we're seeing, as some of you have been sharing on the group, what's happening to you the past few days. What is happening to you now is going to be more of an emotional hunger than a physical hunger. So you have to be able to tell the difference because emotional eating is going to override your body's natural hunger cycle. And obviously, the more as long as you're unaware of emotional eating is one thing, but now as you're going to become aware of it, if you keep giving into it and having the same reactions to your emotional stimuli, then that is going to cause weight gain. That is going to retox your body in terms of inflammation and your chronic disease and your symptoms. It is going to keep that unhealthy relationship going between you and food. And in worst case scenarios, obviously it leads to really disordered eating. So we want to, now that we've gotten the deficiencies out of the way, right? Because there's only two reasons you might be triggered to eat out of a need for a craving. It's either because you're deficient in something, and we've dealt with that, or it's an uncomfortable emotion. And that's what we're going to focus on today. So every single emotion, as I've told you, serves a purpose. There isn't one emotion that's better than another emotion. There isn't one emotion that's good and one emotion that's bad. They're all pointing you towards something in your life that needs your attention. And the reason they do that is because every uncomfortable emotion you experience looks like hunger for something else. So the uncomfortable emotions that most of us can identify with that we'd rather not feel are sadness, anger, guilt, fear, resentment, loneliness, rejection, despair, grief, anxiety, worry, irritation, frustration, disappointment, hopelessness. And all of these when we feel them, we don't want to feel uncomfortable, because actually what they're directing us to is a hunger for the opposite. Because actually what you're hungry for is, instead of being sad, you want to be happy. Instead of being rejected, you want to be accepted. Instead of feeling dejected and useless, you want to feel hopeful. Instead of feeling scared, you want to have courage. Instead of feeling lonely and disconnected, what you really want is connection. Instead of feeling worried, you want safety, and so on and so on and so on. So, but because you've never been taught how to fulfill your emotional needs, or sort of given a safe space to express them, because we're all good girls, brought up in that tradition, and good girls, don't complain or make demands, you had to find another way to avoid this discomfort and fill the gaps. That's all it is. It's a discomfort. You don't want to feel it. You don't know how to process it. You don't know how to deal with it. So you have to push it down. You have to find a temporary comfort to deal with this emotional discomfort. And we all learn this at a very young age. I mean, as a baby, you cry. And what do you do when you cry? Your mother feeds you. So we eat. It's the easiest response that we have. It's the most independent response that we have. It doesn't involve anybody else. You don't have to go and ask anybody's opinion, or go and share something about what's happening and then see if you want to eat. Nobody even has to know that anything is going on with you. You're going to feel the discomfort. You're going to go get your food. You're going to eat. You're going to be done with it. So we eat to be rid of a present discomfort, right? The discomfort of being alone and not having companionship. You don't know what to do with that. You don't know how to solve that in the moment. So you go and eat. The discomfort of feeling rejected and not feeling accepted. Where do you start with that? You've never been given the tools. Maybe you're going to go to therapy. Maybe you're not. But in the meantime, in the moment, it's very uncomfortable. So you eat. If you're simply sad, grieving, and you really want to be able to feel joy, but you don't know how to get through that process from feeling sad to feeling joy, what's going to make me feel joy right now is a chocolate bar. So I'm going to go and have the chocolate bar because that's going to help me right now. So it's a continuous cycle we get in, right? Discomfort of not feeling seen. You want to be seen, but you're not seen. The discomfort of just your daily routines, your daily frustrations, As moms, we're constantly worried about our kids. So instead of feeling safe and secure, we're always worrying. And maybe you always feel disappointed. People let you down. Maybe you just don't have enough passion in your life, right? There's nothing that really fills you up. You're just sort of going on robot every single day. But it's easier to eat the chocolate and easier to make the cheese sandwich than to admit to yourself that you're alone. Much less do something so that you're not alone. Or it's easier to eat the chocolate than to admit to yourself that you have to do something because you don't have support. Or it's easier to eat the chocolate than to face the consequences of releasing your pent-up anger to someone, right? And you don't know what their reaction is going to be. So it's easier to just, I'll play it safe and not show my anger, not show my resentment, not show how I'm really feeling. So the first step with this is to identify what are the biggest feelings that create discomfort for you. Keeping in mind and starting to relearn this, unlearn that there is anything such a thing as a bad feeling or a good feeling. They all serve a purpose. And start to relearn that every emotion is there to lead me into what needs work in my life. So and let me know in the chat, which of these feelings are the ones that create the most discomfort for you? Is it boredom or loneliness, anger, resentment, fear, worry? Those are the biggest ones. And there's, the little variations of all of those. Put it in the chat. Loneliness and worry, stress and worry. Boredom, worry, loneliness, lonely. Sadness, boredom, stress, loneliness, boredom, stress, fatigue, anger, boredom, stress. I also eat when I'm super happy. Yeah, we also eat when we're super happy. So this has just been, so far, our default function because we haven't known otherwise, right? And like I said, let me be super clear again. As long as you're a living, breathing human being who has emotions, right? We are humans with emotions. That's how we're built. It's part of your DNA. Just like you're a human with a heart and a liver and kidneys, you are a human with emotions. As long as you have these emotions, there will be times when using food to find comfort will happen. So the goal is not to eliminate this reaction. What we're trying to do is to understand what the triggers are so that it's not your default function. So for the longest time, it's a default function for everybody, knee-jerk reaction. What we're trying to do by identifying them and then trying to understand what triggers them, and that's coming up, try to work towards finding better ways of serving yourself when these emotions arise. All right? So take out a pen and paper for this, or you can use your phone. And I want you to write these 12 categories down. Let me just put these in the chat. It's easier. Number your paper from 1 to 12, or the notes on your phone or whatever, and write down social life, joy, spirituality, creativity, finances, career, education, health, physical activity, home cooking, home environment, and relationships. Okay. What we're going to do now is I want you to think about each category. So these are called your primary foods. In coaching school, when we were learning about how to be health coaches, we learned about two types of food, primary foods and secondary foods. Secondary foods are anything that you put in your body, anything you eat, whether it's optimally healthy or not. It goes in your mouth, you chew it, you digest it, you poop it. That's called secondary food. Secondary. Primary food was this list right here. And these are the foods that feed your soul. And these were categorized as primary foods, meaning they're more important than how you feed the physical body. Because you could be eating the best diet in the world, but if any of these primary foods are not satisfying for you in your life, or they're not being fed, you're not feeding your soul enough with these primary foods, no matter how much incredibly healthy secondary physical food you're eating, you're going to use food to fill the gaps in your primary food. That's just how it works. So we have to make sure that our primary foods are always fulfilled and always being fed, because when these are fed, secondary food almost becomes unimportant. All right? So we're going to go through them one by one. And I want you to think through each one, and you're going to give it a number on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest. That part of your life is just not fulfilled, or you're not satisfied with it at all, to 10 being the highest. Completely fulfilled. I'm giving this part of my life my all. It's thriving. It's amazing. And then obviously everything in between. All right. And there's no right or wrong, ladies. You need to be really honest with yourself about these areas of your life. So I'll walk you through each one, and then you give yourself the score. Let's start with social life. So think about your social life. And it's not think about your social life in terms of comparing your social life to others, but in terms of what you feel you need your social life to be. Are you somebody who prefers quiet nights at home, one or two really close friends, and that's really what would bring you the most satisfaction? Or are you somebody who thrives on having a huge circle of friends? You love going out all the time. And when that doesn't happen, you feel like something's missing in your life. And is it that you are somebody who really doesn't, who would prefer to stay at home and with one or two friends, but you're being forced to socialize with a lot of people all the time, and vice versa? So be very honest about what your expectation might be of your social life versus what you truly wish your social life to be. And then give it a number. So let's say it's 7. Write down 7. The next one is joy. So joy is very subjective, and it's not about, do you wake up every day and like dance around your house? It's an inner feeling of contentment that you are able to find the joy even in the little things that you do on a day-to-day basis. So do you feel that you have that enough in your life, in the right quantities at the right times in your life? Is it too little? Is it not at all? Give it a rating. The third one is spirituality. So it's obviously not for me to tell you how to be spiritual or religious, but to what extent do you have a higher power that you lean on? And to what extent does this higher power exist in your life? Enough or not enough? Do you feel like going through religious traditions or religious practices is something that would fulfill you, but you just haven't been able to commit to them the way that you like? So this is obviously very different for everybody, but the idea is to see what spirituality and faith and religious tradition means for you, and to what extent you are making it enough of a priority that you see a difference in your life, that you feel satisfied. Number 4 is creativity. So this is not about being creative in the traditional sense. So it's not about, are you a painter? Do you write? Are you creative in those artsy sense? It's not about that at all. You might be. That's a different story, but it's about, because most of us are not artists or writers or painters or anything like that. So is it about allowing creativity into all parts of your life? So maybe do you allow creativity in the way you design your home, right? Maybe in the way that you dress, maybe when you prepare a dinner for your family. Do you just allow an element of creativity into your everyday? 5 is finances. Are you happy with your financial situation? Or do you stay awake really worried about your financial situation? Do you worry about paying bills? Do you worry about the next paycheck? Or are you satisfied? Everything is settled, everything is covered? Or do you wish you could have more, you could be more comfortable, where you don't have to worry about paying bills, you don't have to worry about the next issue. You wish you could have extra to get the things that you wish you could get for yourself, or do things like travel and do things that you love. Number 6 is career. So this does not refer to if you work outside of the home in a corporate job. Career means anything that you're doing. So if you're a stay-at-home mom, that is a career. If you do actually have a career and you have a corporate job, that's a career. If you have your own business, that is obviously a career. You're a business owner. If you have any combination of those, that is what we refer to when we say career. So regardless of which one it is for you, when you wake up in the morning, are you completely excited to go do your job? Whether that is a stay-at-home mom, work from home mom, running your business, or corporate, or any combination. Do you wake up excited to go? Or Do you drag yourself out of bed every morning? You really are not excited that maybe you had excitement and passion for what you used to do before, but over the years, you've lost the passion. Maybe you work at a corporate job, you've been working for 20 years, and 20 years ago, you were so excited to climb that corporate ladder, but now all you can think of is staying home and taking care of your kids and having somebody else think about all the issues and the stress, and you don't want to do it anymore. Maybe you're a stay-at-home mom who's been at home for 20 years and you finally feel like you've done your job, your kids are older, it's time for you to go and discover what lights you up, discover how you want to self-actualize in this world. This is what we mean by career and how satisfied or not you are with it. Number 7 is education. So regardless of how much education you've had, were you satisfied with it? Whether with the type of education or the length. So maybe you had to go and study, I don't know, medicine because everybody in your family is a doctor and you were pressured into studying medicine, but that's not really what you wanted to do. So you've had this wish your entire life to go and study art instead. Maybe. Maybe you feel like you loved what you studied, but maybe you felt like you wanted to study more. Maybe you wanted to do a master's. Maybe you wanted to do a PhD. Is that something that still it's always in the back of your mind and always comes up and you wish to pursue more? Maybe you don't want to do anything. You don't want to pursue anything of what you studied before, but you want to change completely. You want to go and study something that is just sounds really interesting, but has nothing to do with your current field, has nothing to do with what you used to study before, but it just fulfills a passion for learning for you. Give it a rating. Number 8 is health. So how is your health at this point, right? Do you feel energetic? Do you feel vibrant? Are you living life on purpose? You don't have any symptoms, you're symptom free, medication free. Are you able to tick all of your to-dos on your list every day, plus have time for yourself? Because that's why we strive for health, right? It's to be able to do all the things we want to do every single day. We have responsibilities, but also things we want to do, plus have energy and time to do things for ourselves, not necessarily for anybody, not for work, not for anything. So are you able to do that? Is your body able to support your mind? Can it do can your body follow along your mind or not? Number 9 is physical activity. So this is incredibly important because as humans, we were created to move and we were created to move a lot. So are you moving a lot? And I don't just mean a 1-hour workout every day. Are you moving in a way daily that keeps your muscles and joints functioning so that you can go through life not losing regular function of your body? So do you sit all day at a desk from 9 to 5, or are you moving all day? Sitting on a couch at home all day, or are you active around your house all day? Number 10 is home cooking. Do you mostly eat fresh, homemade food at home, or do you mostly eat or order food at home? So are you feeding your body on a regular basis? We're not talking about exceptions. On a regular basis, feeding your body fresh food that's alive and nutrient dense, or processed junk, dead food made in a factory. Number 11 is your home environment. We don't usually think of this one, but your home environment. Your home is where everything happens. Your home is even if you're working all day, you come home. And if you're a stay-at-home mom, you're in your home. Your memories with your family and your kids are made at home. So do you love your home? Is it comfortable? Is it tidy? Is it organized? Or is it cluttered, outdated, messy, right? Do you love to come home or do you avoid it? You come home and just don't want to look at the mess and go straight to your room. And beyond the physical aspect of it, is your home warm? Is it inviting? Does it feel safe? or does it feel cold and unsafe? And finally, 12, your relationships. So your primary relationships. So your spouse, your kids, your parents, your siblings, your closest friends. Are these relationships mutually supportive? Meaning, do you get as much as you give? Or are you the one always giving, 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 supporting, supporting, going out of your way, taking care of, thinking of the other side? And the other side is, they just do the minimum. Rate all of these ladies. When one or more of these areas is missing, so let's say you see like a score of 1 or 2 or 3 in several of these areas, and you see that these areas are not as fulfilled as the others, you will consciously or subconsciously look to food to fill that gap in your primary food. So relationships are a big one. When you're not mutually supported in your relationships, it's going to lead to loneliness or resentment, which are very uncomfortable and you don't want to face it. So you eat. If you don't have a career or a passion that fills you up every single day, if you haven't discovered it yet, or if you're in one that you used to love, but now it depletes you, right? You come home every day feeling depleted, or you're a stay-at-home mom and you feel depleted by your responsibilities at the end of every single day. You're going to feel unfulfilled. You're going to feel bored, which is discomfort. And if you can't leave this job, let's say you need it because it provides financial security, and you can't figure out what it is that will really fill you up every day and make you forget about time and space, it's just so overwhelmingly fulfilling, then that's a discomfort. You'll come home at the end of a day at work where you're pouring your heart and soul into something that really doesn't fulfill you. You will open the fridge to refill that depletion. If you walk home also and your home is cluttered and unorganized and you can't find what you need when you need it, this is uncomfortable. This is a huge stress, which so many women are not aware of. It will make you edgy. It will make you frustrated. It will make you irritable. And you might not even notice it, but you're going to go eat to calm yourself from those feelings. And movement. If you're not moving every single day on a daily basis, a workout plus just being active in day-to-day function, your body will be irritable. You won't have enough happy hormones, and you're going to eat because you're going to be uncomfortable. So let me know, ladies. Put them share your results in the chat. You can either share all of them, or I would tell me which ones are the ones that you scored the lowest on. So the ones that basically need your attention the most. So where is it that there's a void. Where is it? Which part is the void where you're subconsciously filling it up with food, potentially? Hind, almost all of them are a 1. Hind, even health right now is still a 1? That hasn't gone up a few with the program? Home cooking, a little bit? Angie, career. Amira, physical activity and finances are the lowest. Jaylen, joy, career, health, home environment. Hind, social life, joy, finances, career, education, health, physical activity, relationships, spirituality, career, physical activity, home environment. My health is a bit better, but still extreme fatigue and I keep getting weird aches. Okay. But it's getting your attention. It's a work in progress. Mona, relationships, career, finances. Red, joy, health, relationships. NG, creativity too. All right. So write these down, ladies. I'm getting canker sores in my mouth now. Canker sores are a sign of the body releasing toxins, Hind. That's not strange. That's not a sign of bad health. That's a sign of healing. So, ladies, you've tracked it down now. Maybe now that you've seen it, maybe there's a part of you saying, yeah, you know what, this is kind of part of my life. I've kind of been like, just kind of putting it off to the side, like maybe it'll resolve itself, like, maybe a solution will happen soon. But actually, what this is telling you now that this is where you have to be proactive. It's not just going to resolve itself. It's something that either you're going to have to accept, especially with things like career, those of you who put career. So we always say with career is you either do what you love, and if you can't do what you love, then you find a way to love what you're doing. So this isn't something, obviously, all of this, we're not solving it in today's call. And none of these are going to be resolved, it takes time. And I would highly recommend for each one of you who had more than one is to think about out of the ones that have scored the lowest for you, the ones that are getting the least attention from you, but are the ones that would make the biggest difference to your life. Out of those, shortlist it even more and choose the one, just one, that if you were to start to give it more attention or start to transform it, that would make the biggest difference to your life right now. Because we can't focus on all of the ones at the same time. That your critter brain will just go crazy wild and reject all of it. We want to choose one. And it's not about figuring out how you're going to do this right now. I want you, and not even, don't tell me which one it is right now. Think about it. And if there were one that if you could start to truly transform it soon, it would have the biggest difference on your life soon, which one would it be? That's it, ladies. I want you just to think about that. And once you know, share it with us on the group. Career, health. Oh, okay. You guys, some of you already know. Career, health. Yep. Joy. So tomorrow, or ladies who already know, tomorrow on the group, put it again, and I can give you some, we can walk through just a very basic coaching to help you identify how you can get started with this, or just to take the thought process a little bit deeper into it. All of you who have shared with me, so please do that again on the group tomorrow. Those of you who still are not sure, that's not a problem. When it does come to you, also share it on the group so that I can walk you through the process of starting to think about how you can transform it. But just the fact today that you have identified the emotions, you've identified the void where your emotions are trying to fill a void, this in and of itself, you can't do anything else without having identified these bits and pieces first. So today you've taken that step, which is a huge step. When it comes to, right, so I know I'm bored, I know I'm sad, I know my career is not fulfilling, and I really can't do anything about it right now. So what happens when I feel like I just need to eat it out? The first thing is to take a moment from now, because you've identified it, and be kind to yourself and say, right, at least now I know that I'm feeling this feeling of anger or resentment or boredom because I am not fulfilled in this part of my life. And I haven't learned yet how to fulfill this part of my life. So even if you go to your default, which is to have the chocolate or the cheese sandwich, the next time this happens, at least you're doing it with a very strong awareness. It's not just this, you're just doing it sort of like without thinking, without knowing, you're just going to go and take the food and eat it. It's going to be very clear to you why. So if this keeps happening and the first few times this happens, you acknowledge, here's why I'm going to eat this chocolate right now, because I just came home from a 12-hour day at a job that's sucking all of my energy and wasting all of my life, but I have to stay in it because it's paying the bills. I don't know yet Yet is a very key word because it opens up potential in your thought process. I don't know yet how I'm going to solve it, but I will. For now, I'm going to eat this chocolate bar. It is a very different experience than the blind rage. Then gradually, you're going to take a little bit more proactive step. When you come home again, 12 hours, depleted, you don't know what to do. Instead of the chocolate, you're going to go and have dates. Or you're going to go have a smoothie. Or you're going to go have a healthy treat you've kept just in case something like this happens to you. You still haven't resolved the issue. You're still filling a void, but at least you've taken the first step of not filling the void with foods that are going to keep you in a vicious cycle and keep your addiction going and then risk your health as well. And you keep that going for a while. And then depending on where you are, and this is tomorrow when you put it in the group and I'll help you sort of give you some guiding questions how you can figure this out. This could take months. So be kind to yourself in this process. But at the same time, don't just use it as an excuse now that I know I'm tired and I'm fed up and I hate my job and I hate being a stay-at-home mom. Don't also use it as an excuse now, like it's justified, right? Like, you're right. So now I know why I'm doing this because I'm so miserable. So don't use it as an excuse either. You want to work through this process very consciously. All right? Any questions, ladies? Oh, Amira. Most of the time, I can't tell if I'm hungry or just want to eat out of habit or emotionally. So this is a very important observation, Amira, which you need to start to pay attention to because right now, technically, you shouldn't be physically hungry anymore. If you're following the plan, if you're eating all the nutrient-dense foods on a cellular level, your physical needs are being met. As long as you're not skipping meals, you're not under eating, you're eating sufficiently on the plan and detoxing, by this point, your cells are fed. So it's not your cells that are giving the hunger signal, potentially like before, right? So before the plan, you're eating very nutrient low foods, foods that have very, very, very low in live vitamins, live minerals, live hydration. Your cells were probably giving out the signal continuously. I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. In addition to your emotional eating. But now, to a great extent, we've separated the two. So tapping into emotional hunger, though, because we're just not used to it, and we're not used to isolating our emotions, especially if we've been taught that this is a bad emotion. You shouldn't be feeling this. You shouldn't be sad. You shouldn't be angry. You shouldn't be bored, right? All the things we shouldn't be, but actually we go through this whole range of emotions. We do get bored. We do get sad. We do get angry. So start by identifying the emotion. And I'm also going to put a little chart for you in the group tomorrow to help you with this, help you to decipher. Is it physical hunger or is it emotional hunger? So you can download that chart. And when that hunger comes up, you'll be able to use it to compare, because there's very distinct physical cues that will also be clear to you whether it's a physical hunger or emotional hunger. And Hind, I'm feeling frustrated in terms of chronic fatigue and joint aches. Hind, you are still going through detox withdrawal symptoms. Anybody who's still feeling fatigue, joint pain, getting skin rashes, diarrhea, you got canker sores, your period, you got your first period and it's still uncomfortable or it's late or it's early, all of these are still signs of rebalancing. So it takes time. Those of you in these phases, I just have to insist that you Don't eat less. Don't skip, because when you eat less and when you skip, you're not giving the body the healing doses that it needs to heal. So the healing will take longer and it will be slower. Jelen, sometimes I'm conscious about it and I still eat unhealthy. So the first step, like I said, Jelen, is to be conscious. And now that you know the 12 areas of primary food, to identify that as the trigger and make that connection moving forward and be kind to yourself. And then the next step would be to identify and replace the unhealthy with something healthy. Mona, I've been craving eggplant and beef liver for the past 3 days. I can think of worse things to eat, Mona. Go ahead and have it. Where are you? Go ahead and have it and see what happens. Food is just, the way your body responds to food is just feedback. Go ahead and have it and let us know. These are still whole foods, natural foods. They're not processed foods. They're not made in a factory. They're not ultra processed. They're not high sugar. They're whole foods coming straight from nature. Have them and see what happens. Reda, can I eat dates in the juicing day? Can I go clean eating tomorrow for 9 days and restart deep cleanse again? Yes, you can do that. Ideally, juicing day is no solids at all, just the juices. Mona, yesterday was my juicing day. Yesterday was my juicing day and the second round of the 9-day detox. Okay. So you've done it twice. Amazing. Anybody who's done it 2, 3 times now, amazing. Jalen, how can I know that my body doesn't have toxins? If there's any level of inflammation in your body, and Jalen, you've got cancer, that means your body has toxins. So cancer is the highest level of toxicity in the body. You just get a diagnosis, right? You don't need to do a lab test. The lowest form of toxicity would show up as, if there's no medical conditions, but the lowest level of toxicity, and everybody's walking around with low level toxicity, is going to show up as fatigue. It can show up as, just lack of energy. It can show up as not being able to wake up in the morning. It can show up as low grade body aches. Like when you get up in the morning, you have sort of lower back pain, or like your joints hurt. You're just kind of sore just getting up. That is a sign of toxicity. And then everything else in between, right? Severe headaches, migraines, acne, psoriasis, eczema, diabetes, prediabetes, insulin resistance, fibroids, endometriosis, just period pains, heavy periods, PMS, moodiness. All of those are signs of toxicity. All of those are signs of too much toxicity and deficiency, all of them. Well, if you're the one thing you can go test for example, would be heavy metals. So you could go test to see if you have toxicity from things like aluminum, mercury, things like that. My emotional eating is not junk. It's the replacement techniques. I can eat tons of salad and fruits even when I'm very full. And you do that because of a uncomfortable emotion, Hind. Is that what you're saying? So
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes, it's what drives me to eat.
Yeah.
But I'm very aware that this food is going to be very destructive and unhealthy. So I resort to, I can make a big bowl of salad and keep eating and chewing. It's just the fact that I want to keep chewing something, you know what I mean?
Yes. So you've already gone to that second phase where okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So then for us, then the next level of work for you would be, right, how can I get to the root cause of this uncomfortable emotion to start with? To minimize this emotion bubbling up inside me. What is the root cause for that? Where is the root in my primary foods? Which primary food is the one that needs my attention so that this emotion doesn't come up. The other way, of course, ladies, I'm always going to mention this, is the thought model. The thought model is the way to transform the thought that leads to the emotion to start with, right? So every emotion was first preempted by a thought. So if you find yourself in these emotions, sadness, boredom, loneliness, anger, go back and see what was the thought that preceded that.
Mm.
So I would do that for you, Hind, because you've already replaced it. So at least there's no, you're minimizing. So it's not just emotional toxicity, but you've minimized the physical toxicity from this process as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So now let's go the next step further to figure out where the root is and to figure out the thoughts that are creating this.
Okay.
Angie, I've been craving cauliflower and broccoli. Never liked them before. This is the physiological addiction gone, right? And now
It's
you
so
have
sad, Dana. This is really
that's
sad.
no, this is amazing. This is amazing. This is not sad at all. This is what everybody needs to get to, where the body is craving. You've let go of the addictions. The body's not craving the toxins anymore. The body knows what it needs. You're giving it what it needs, and now it's telling you, here's what I need. Please give it to me now. That's amazing. Congratulations. What about the emotional feelings that we have during our period of PMS? So again, the root cause of that is a physiological imbalance. So once that is rebalanced, you're going to find that PMS cravings decrease. Something that really helps with that also is magnesium, and this is why I recommended magnesium. It also helps with PMS cravings. But the PMS, so the way that PMS cravings works is depending to what degree you have cravings outside of PMS. So to the degree that your body was physically addicted to foods in the 3 weeks before PMS determines how intense your PMS will be. So if you're somebody who's really addicted to sugar and chocolate and cheese and all of that, normally during PMS, that's going to be even worse. As soon as you start to regulate that outside of your PMS time, then it will also regulate during PMS time. What eventually happens when you keep doing this is you don't get PMS, period. You won't even know when you're getting your period. Your period will be a surprise every single month. You'll just go and sit on the toilet and be like, oh, okay, it's my period today. You won't have the physical symptoms and you won't have the emotional symptoms. It is not a default setting, ladies, PMS, menopause, perimenopause symptoms. They are not a default setting. They are simply the way your body reacts to stimuli. You remove that and the body rebalances and none of it happens. I used to drink ginger, cloves, and turmeric. What do you think? Is it okay? 100% okay. Bring it back. I'm repeating the detox for the 3rd week now, but did not do the juicing day this Friday. Is that okay? Yes, I suppose that is okay. Like I said at the beginning, whenever you kind of tweak the juicing day, skip the juicing day, you will miss out on some of the benefits. But in the end, you did a whole cycle. So of course it's okay. And is vegetarian eating better? I want to lose weight. The thing is, well, the way we're eating, right? Detoxing fruits and vegetables is rebalancing the body in terms of what you were missing in nutrients. So the body has to rebalance first. If you have specific conditions or symptoms, the body's always going to prioritize healing over weight loss. Is it better than eating animal protein for weight loss? I really can't say necessarily yes or no. What is the reason why you might not be able to lose weight is because of an overload of toxicity in your body or an overload on your liver. And I don't know if you saw my post. I put a post a few days back, was it before the weekend, where I outlined in detail why not weight loss might or might not happen. So again, because we're working on healing, not weight loss, the more you focus on the scale and the more your focus is on weight loss, this is a form of stress for the body also, and it will slow it down. If you were to just put the scale away, which is I've recommended for many of you, put the scale away and just focus on your symptoms and focus on refeeding your body the nutrients that it's been missing. And just leave weight loss as something that will happen on its own. And don't think vegetarian versus not, meat versus not. Think healing. What do I need to do to heal? If you find that you're doing the deep detox and your symptoms are reversing and you're healing and you're feeling better, that should be the focus, not am I deep detoxing to lose weight? So the whole mindset needs to shift around this. Do we have heavy metal tests and labs here in Egypt? I actually don't know, Nariman. I'm not sure about this. I don't see why not, but you know, you can obviously ask. Yeah, so the pH level, the strips that you would pee on, yeah, that would tell you, obviously, the more toxicity you have, the more acidic the result will be. The less toxicity you have, the more alkaline you will be. All right, ladies, our next session is on Tuesday. So as of this week, we only have 2 sessions per week, not every single day. And Tuesday's session is just a Q&A. So I will not be coming in with something planned to teach you, unless I see something happening on the group in general that I want to address, but I don't have anything planned for Tuesday. Tuesday is just a chance for you to spend the whole time we have together to ask as many questions as you need. Simply Q&A. So only 2 sessions per week from now on, ladies. All right? Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will see you on Tuesday. Same time, same place. Good night, ladies.